this is a new background because I did not want to go downstairs in my basement and then turn all the lights on. So with Valentine's Day coming up, I've decided to talk about something that's not about young relationships or whatnot. Instead, I'm going to talk about the fact that my parents are divorced. No, this isn't really considered personal. If someone asks me if my parents are divorced or asks me about my parents' divorce, I freely talk about that. You know, it's not like I walk up to a person, hey, you want to hear how my parents split up when I was 2? No, but I talk about it freely. And here's why. I consider myself very lucky in terms of my parents' divorce. Like, as you might have noticed, my parents divorced when I was 2. I don't consciously remember when my parents were married. I don't remember the actual divorce. I'm also lucky is that my parents live close to each other, and I see one at least 2 days a week. So I see them pretty often. I keep in regular contact with them. It's just the fact that they live in different houses. That's why I talk about my parents' divorce freely. It's also sort of hard on me. I think I've suffered some kind of emotional impact somehow, because maybe I subconsciously just remember that still, and sort of my brain sort of locked that in, and now that's affected my emotions. Maybe. But then again, I wouldn't know what normal emotions are, because I've never experienced those normal emotions before. And if I have when I was younger, then I don't consciously remember that. So that's fine. I mean, if any emotional impact is now deemed normal for me because I don't remember normal. It's also kind of hard because my dad doesn't have internet connection in his house, so we don't really have a computer at all. So whenever there's a school assignment and we need to type something and I need to use the computer, then I have to go to the library. There's also the fact about clothes. Sometimes I have more clothes at my mom's than at my dad's, so I have to bring them over and I get criticized for that, so that's not fun. But I think the main thing, because these are all trivial things, like I said, I can go to the library, the hardest thing for me is that, number one, I am very used to long distance drives. Earlier on I said in this video that my parents are lived pretty short away, but it used to be that, because I live in the Chicago suburbs, it used to be that my mom lived on one side of the suburbs and my dad lived in another county on the other side of the suburbs, and I had to drive 2 hours to school. To this day, I am accustomed to long distance drives. I actually enjoy car rides. I suppose the effect isn't bad, but the cause is. Another bad effect is that they only physically talk to each other. It's about me, or like planning vacations or whatnot. Never really. They don't talk maybe once a month, and very rarely it's in person. Usually it's through a telephone or through me. I suppose it's not really tense when it's there. It's not necessarily kind of emotionless. My dad especially. My dad, he's been affected a lot by this divorce. Anytime I mention anyone or anything connected to my mom, including my mom herself, sort of like a tension increases. I'm a rather socially and physically clumsy person. I probably kick my desk in school accidentally at least twice a day. Can very easily offend someone. So, you know, I don't like being in a tense situation where I mention my mom at my dad's. My mom's, it's okay. I get some kind of criticism about that. And because I'm a socially awkward person who gets in enough awkward situations by myself, I don't like getting into another one. So that's probably the worst part. So instead of, does this mean that divorce is good? I mean, after all, I've only said positive or neutral things, and some bad, but no, divorce is not a good thing. Like I said, I don't remember normal. Traveling from house to house several times per week is something that has gone normal to me. Don't remember normal, so the parents don't end up well. You have to end up with some kind of guilty conscience, and or if you want to avoid having a guilty conscience, then become an emotionless machine. If you or a friend or someone has divorced parents, you're not alone. Apparently 50% of kids have their parents divorced, unfortunately. Divorce is never a good thing. I suppose if you're married or about to get married or whatever, then take that advice, but I doubt you're out there. But seriously, chances are that if you meet 2 kids, one of them is going to have divorced parents. Although I suppose that 50% statistic may be a little bit untrue. All statistics are. But there are many children whose parents are divorced, and it's not fun. Like I said, I have it easy, but, you know, you're not alone. Happy Valentine's Day, I suppose. If you have divorced parents, or your parents are about to separate, which is basically the same thing, or whatever, post a comment. Cat all thumbs up.